Hey, this is Zoe Williams of the Voice of Reason and of course ZOWHAT morning shows. I am returning to implore you guys to support us in any way you can. That means if you're sharing on social media, liking, subscribing, and of course contributing and donating. We really need it, especially in light of the new YouTube filters that are targeting our languaging. So now we're at a position where they're not even monetizing our videos anymore. No more commercials. So we can't monetize the views that you guys provide us by watching the show. So now more than ever, we are asking that you guys continue to support and fortify the movement, not just by watching the shows, but also contributing to the shows. We need your help more than ever now. And if you want us to continue this high quality, high grade content, we're gonna really need your help. I'm Zoe Williams, and I approve of this message. Thank you for tuning in to the Voice of Reason and the ZOWHAT Morning Show. Peace.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
I'm a relationship hacker.
Run up and get touched up, suicide. And all of y'all know my style. I excel, then prevail. Run up and get touched up, suicide, that's it. And all of y'all know my style. I excel, then prevail.
My nigga. Hey, whose beat is that? That's the perfect Monday morning get down, right?
That shit is dope.
Ladies and gentlemen, the ZOWHAT morning show is in the building. We got a great topic today. Brought Dr. G out of the woodworks. You know, Dr. G be hiding. What are these radicals talking about today? Oh, I will be away today. I don't have the time to deal with any of your complaints. Today's topic, though, it's a heater, a very powerful show lined up for you today. But you already know how we do. It's important that we promote and support those who cannot promote and or support themselves. Let me get started right now. Very important. I need you guys to go to my website, the new website. I am ZoeWilliams.com. Frank, I want you to pull up every aspect that I'm going to promote here. So number one, before I get to the community empowerment, there's a couple of things that you need to know about the new website. We have a shop button where you can go get my books, my coaching, and my apparel. So I have a new t-shirt that will come out tomorrow. I'm picking up the t-shirts tomorrow. 50% Tupac plus 50% Deepak equals 100% ZOWHAT is the new show, or the new t-shirt. Fly ass t-shirt, artist by the name of Marquise out of DC, who drew the cover of the Relationship Dismount. He created this three-headed monster of myself, Pac, and Deepak. This embodies the spirit of the show. This show has the aggressiveness, the revolutionary spirit of change, of inspiration and upliftment that Tupac embodied. And the reason why Deepak is on it, because it rhymes with Tupac. If I could put Krishnamurti on there, I would have had Krishnamurti, right? But it rhymes with, Deepak has some good stuff. I don't always agree, but it rhymes with Tupac. 50% Tupac plus 50% Deepak equals 100% ZOWHAT. It embodies the spirit of the show. Higher consciousness, spiritual evolution with revolution. Revolution and evolution together gives you Zoe Williams. 50% Tupac plus 50% Deepak equals 100% ZOWHAT. We have the smallest size of this shirt is large. The biggest size is 4X. And we're only creating 5 dozen. So 2 dozen of the 5 dozen will be 2X. All right? That's all we got. I want you guys to pre-order right now. Get to my website, IamZoWilliams.com. Pre-order. Now, on the book side of the game, click on my website, shop. Frank will show you how to do it. There's only 190 copies of The Relationship Dismount, How to Stick the Landing When Exiting a Toxic Relationship. Dr. G, didn't you do a forward in The Relationship Dismount?
I did it backwards.
You did it backwards? You did a forward. We edited the shit out of it, though. Doc wrote it in his sleep, but we got it. We got it.
Yeah, you wrote this and I signed it. That looks about right. Yeah.
No, I didn't write it, but we definitely doctored it up. Like, Doc, if you could ever write in slurs, Doc was on Thorazine. He was. Zoe is wonderful. He wrote it like, Zoe is incredible. He knows stuff he isn't supposed to know.
Wait, I know that voice.
But we cleared all of the slur out of it.
That was my granddad before I put a pillow over his head.
Oh God, Doc. Don't incriminate yourself before the show starts. Now, The Relationship Dismount, only 190 copies left. Please go support the movement right now. I'm not sure if I can do another. I'm a self-published author, so I don't know if I could do another, big manufactured flow of more. I don't know if we can make more, but there's only 190 copies left. If you want a physical copy, go to my website, click it now. You can get it. Also, Kindle, it's on Kindle. Frank will pull it up for you. It's on iBooks. Frank will pull that up as well. And then, this is very important. My next book, the follow-up to The Relationship Dismount, The Holographic Relationship. A deeper look at the union between consciousness, intimacy, and God. Oh my goodness. This is a heavy book. Far too many people, when talking about relationships, talk about social game rules. I'm so sick of people saying, oh, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. Well, this book is dealing with the true purpose of relationship, which is spiritual in nature. Not enough books on the spiritual nature of relationship. When you ask people about the spiritual nature of relationship, what do? They go to some holy book, some dogma, some doctrine, some spiritual box. Oh, Jesus. It's about to be crazy. Go there now. IamZoWilliams.com. Pre-order your copy of The Holographic Relationship. 3 things on the website you got to do now. The Holographic Relationship, pre-order. The remaining physical copies of The Relationship Dismount, order. And 50% Tupac, 50% Deepak equals 100% ZOWHAT t-shirts. Go there now. Now, couple more things to promote. The GoFundMe page. Frank is expensive. He is. Frank be acting like he not expensive and he getting lazy. We got like 8 shows that haven't been uploaded yet. Frank is like, look, Zoe, I've got other things. I'll get to you when the fans be like, what happened to 2 weeks ago show? It's Frank. But Frank is our guy.
Put it all on Frank.
I have to just throw Frank under the bus. He doesn't have a microphone. He can't defend himself. Cool. So, but no, we're trying to get some more cameras. We want to get some more angles. We want to if you think the production quality has been good to this point, we want to raise it even higher. Please continue to support. We thank everybody for backing us on this. GoFundMe.com/Zoe Williams. Now, it's not over. I've got to get to the businesses that we promote. All right? Community empowerment. Blackspot.com. BLAQSPOT.com. Did you join, Kevin?
No, not yet.
You fucking up. Cool. Did you
But
join?
I talked to the guy though.
Yes.
Man, so we good. We good. I just haven't had time to sit down and do it, man.
First off, let me just do this. Let me just
I
do
just haven't
this.
had time
Can I
to do
low
it.
key? Can I
hold on,
low key
hold on.
throw him under the bus?
Let me just do this real quick, and then I'm gonna let you throw him on the bus.
Okay, watch this shit.
Hey, the dude from Black Spot.
Look,
The dude from
his
Black
name
Spot.
is Brian.
Brian, stop hollering at my people independently. It's disrespectful. There's a protocol.
No,
You
no,
holler at
Brian,
me.
no, Brian
shit.
good. No, Brian's good. He's a cop stop guardian donor.
No, now he good because he cop stop.
No,
Is that what it is?
No.
There's a protocol, Brian. Don't just be hollering at folk. It ain't like that, Pierre.
Man,
Oh shit.
I'm just
We
saying,
good,
man.
Okay. Don't be
We
fucking
good,
around.
Hey, G Money did a side deal. Is that what happened?
we good,
that what
B.
happened? Oh, bro, you done false flagged over here on the Voice of Reason Crips. The VOR Crip, fool.
Damn it. Don't do that.
Oh, man.
There's a protocol, but I'm still going to promote your business.
Okay, watch this. Watch
Blackspot.com, Afro Social Networking. It is the Black Facebook. I'm on it. Please continue to support it.
Ask again who supports it. Who's already done it?
Who's already done it?
Oh, I have because it's real important to me. It's very important. Yeah, low key hatred. You forgot the homework.
Hey, I will
That
say this:
motherfucker
it's
right
called
there.
Black. So hey, I ain't down with
BLAQ,
fucking black shit.
Blackspot.com.
So there you go.
Please continue to
I
support.
told him that.
Please continue to support. Don't holler at the team, man. Holler at me.
That's right,
That's
fool.
how that work. If it's Kevin's show, you holler at Kevin. And then Kevin go put me on.
We'll do a cyber drive-by
We
on
don't do
your
it the
ass.
other way, man. All right, look.
We'll do an electronic drive-by. I'll put a virus on your shit, and it'll send to everybody that come to your shit to midget porn. Don't make us fool. Voice
Stop.
of Reason Crips, fool.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
yo, you want me mob on it?
No,
All
don't
right.
mob. Don't mob.
Midget porn.
Hey, Triumph Beyond Designs. These are the guys who designed my website. When I tell you right now, listen, I'm a respectful guy, even though I'm a hothead and I can be disrespectful when I get angry. Let me tell you, Easy Boy Web did a hell of a job on my last website, and I always want to shout them out. That's another option for you. But these new cats, this brother right here, Triumph Beyond Designs, created the new website. It is lit. I mean, he connected it within 10 days.
Wow.
Every time I call him and say, hey, I need this done, I need this
Done.
changed, boom, 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 it's done. Triumph Beyond Design, professional, efficient, and most importantly, fast. Does it right. I hate fast people. They do it wrong. It's wrong.
Right.
But it's done.
Got that wrong back to you in a hurry?
No. They do it fast and they do it right. Triumph Beyond Design.
We're not very efficient, but we fuck up fast.
Right. BigOldPrettyGirls.com.
Oh, shit.
You want some oven loving? Dressed lovely, dressed nice. There you go, oven loving. BigOldPrettyGirls.com. Clothing for sisters, for the plus size woman, the Black Lane Bryant.
right.
Why not support them? The Black Lane Bryant. I'm supporting all of these businesses
If you
right
gonna
now.
eat, go on and wear it right.
Exactly. My homeboy Corey Holcomb, 5150, has some of the greatest t-shirt designs. I mean, you got to go there to see him. I love those shirts, fly shirts. Corey Holcomb,
Y'all need to buy some of
5150.com.
my shit. I got these Hustle Box t-shirts for you niggas out there paying that child support to them lousy bros.
Oh, God. CoreyHolcomb.com. Photographer, Inez Lewis. She does all of my photography. She's dope. InezLewis.com. Please support her. Inez, INEZ, photography.com. Inez Lewis. My cousin, Kenneth Boggs Suits. I'm about to come in here next week.
Oh, bogged down?
Bogged down.
How about that?
I'm
You
just
can
letting
have
you know.
that, Boggs. I'm
Right.
going to get you bogged down.
Kenneth Boggs Suits. Go support them right now. New Republic West. If you need your taxes done, it's coming up on the 15th of April. You better get it done ASAP. New Republic West. They got stores or companies opening up all over the country. New Republic West for lending, credit, insurance, accounting. They do it all, and they'll get your taxes done. Haru Apparel, which is... You can find this at PanAfricanDesigns.com. PanAfricanDesigns.com. Go support them. We Juice in the building, always here supporting what we do. Go support them now. This is Cash Mob Mondays. Don't talk about it. Be about it. Nubia Apparel. I'm wearing one of the hats right now. The Seattle Seahawk colors with the eye of Heru on the icy side of the game. NUWBIA.com. Nubia.com is where you can find these fly hats along with a lot of fly t-shirts. Power in One. PIOclothing.com. I support these brothers from the cradle to the grave. A lot of empowering shirts, fly gear. Ramomar. Oh my God, this boy is coming back with a vengeance. High-end fly leather goods, fly leather jackets and dresses and suits. Watch me come in here with the Falcon blazer on. I'm about to hurt everybody's feelings when I come in here with that.
Stop playing.
I might be at that point forced to bodily.
I'm just gonna come
I'd
in
have
as-
been close a lot of times to try to mob Zoe for his own shit. Like I'm not coming back here next week.
I'm coming in like the
Getting
Negro
jacked.
Xavier
Getting
from the
jacked.
X-Men. Like, no, Logan.
That's right. I have the power to read everyone's mind in the world, but I can't take 5 fucking steps.
Oh, I'm wearing this sister from England, Alicia Mullins. I'm gonna tell my homeboy from Triumph Beyond Designs to add her website to the community empowerment fly gear. AliciaMullins.com. Please support her gear. She sent this to me as well. Beautiful stuff. RBGTees.com. Go support them right now. Sean Nichols Photography. Sean Nicholas Photography. Sean Nicholas. He did my last photo shoot. Go support that brother as well. Shepherd's Sweets, man.
Candy crack.
Go get the candy crack, man.
Oh my God, it's
No.
unbelievable.
Yo, we had she showed up at a party for my homeboy who lost his mom.
Oh man, sorry. To hear
You remember Niles?
Yeah.
My manager
that.
Niles?
Yeah.
Niles Kirchner.
How's it, man? Oh,
His
I'm
mother
sorry to hear
passed,
that,
man. Real close to our family, real good
Yeah.
people, man.
Sorry to hear that, Niles.
Damn, you know. Yaz made 2 sweet potato cakes with the fucking
Yep.
Yeah, niggas
the
was
cream cheese ice.
Yep.
niggas was grieving with greasy faces.
Niggas was like, oh, well, shit.
Who died?
I'm gonna miss her so much. I got any napkins. Oh, shit.
Hey, they went ham.
That's right.
They went ham on that.
That's what's up.
So, hey, freedompapercompany.com. Let's not play games. Freedom Paper Company. Go support them. If you buy toilet paper, everybody do. Why not buy it from black-owned business? Freedom Paper Company. Tell them Zoe sent you. Tell all of these companies Zoe sent you. Mind-blowing mobiles. They did my app. The app is fly. They're doing Cop Stop Guardians app.
Yeah.
All that's fly business. Go to Mind Blowing Mobile. Her name is Wanda Trotter. Tell them Zoe sent you. And then the final thing I'm gonna promote before I throw it to Kevin is Total Package Energy. Everybody wants one of these. They sent me 4 boxes.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
There
But
you
I'm not
go.
sharing
Stop
any.
playing.
Okay,
Stop
good.
playing.
When I tell you this is that crack,
Stop playing.
That's how you wind up with bird shit smeared on your car.
hey, this is that
Yeah.
energy pump
Oh, this
right
work.
here. These work.
It definitely works.
When I tell you these work, my God, that kid who came in here from UCLA had to do the combine, drank one of these, and smashed. Total Package Energy. I'm promoting this guy for free. You know why? Well, not really free. This is the one business that said, you know what? I'm a partner with you, Zoe.
Wow.
He said, look, man, if you promote me, I'll give you $5 a box.
Oh.
And he's going to donate it to the VOR GoFundMe page.
And there you have it.
How you beat that? How you beat
I
that?
just said, man.
That was
Yeah.
very Heba family, man. That wow. I'm telling you, Doc. We're impressed because we hear that all the time about Jews. We don't hear that about our people all the time.
Man,
being down
that
like
was, he was like, man, just
Yes.
can you promote me? And the crazy thing, how I met the dude, his partner is the trainer, Anthony Eagleton, who trains Damon Lillard, trains all of these NBA guys. trains NFL guys. He's a strength trainer, and he trained the young lion.
Slap my hand like the black guys do. Oh my God.
He's gonna train my kid again this summer. My kid's gonna be a fucking animal. So I said, man, that's the least I could do is promote you guys, man. He's already the young lion. Yo. So Kev, really quickly, Cop Stop Guardian.
Yeah, we're just out here trying to cure police-itis, and you guys know I mess with words quite a bit, so police-itis is a real disease. What is disease? Something that causes you to be not at ease. So that's that sick feeling you get when you see a police officer in the street, that cop car. Everybody
DC
knows
that
it.
Feeling?
Everybody get that damn feeling. Some gets it more than others. Some get it more than others.
No, Brentwood don't get that feeling. I'm sorry.
But you know, everybody knows that feeling, and so we're just trying to get everybody out to get behind us because there's nothing else like this. And I wanted to say something about what's going on. Since Trump has been in office, there's something that's called consent decrees that he's done away with, and that's basically when the police departments, when somebody's wronged in a police in something that happens at the police force. You can basically lobby the DOJ, the Department of Justice, for a consent decree, which means they'll come in and try to readjust the department, work with the police, change every way that things are. Basically, the DOJ has just done away with consent decrees. That means no more lobbying the DOJ for any wrongs that's done to the citizens.
Wow.
So they basically
overturned all of that.
It's a wrap. So basically, they left the police departments to deal with their own internally to deal with their own things. So there's even more. This is even more important to get this out there. So get behind it. GoFundMe/CopStopGuardian. Damn, just lost my mind. CopStopGuardian.com if you want to donate.
There it is. Listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Dr. G's relationship toolbox and the topic, it's about to be lit. We're going to holla in 2.2 seconds. It's about to go down. Hot Topic, ZOWHAT, Dash Radio, Hot Button Radio. You know what it is. The number to dial if you want to participate is 323-230-4445. We'll holla at you in a second. Ladies and gentlemen, the ZOWHAT Morning Show is back and ready to take off. You already know what part of the show this is. This is Dr. G's Toolbox, where he sets up the topic for today's discussion. Dr. G, go in.
So today's discussion is about is religion and God the way the black community and other communities deal with their mental health. And I'm going to actually put in a plug for religion and faith and all that. I'd love Kevin to weigh in on this, but my definition of mental illness versus mental health is when you're mentally healthy and shit happens, you don't do anything shitty to make it worse.
Wow!
I mean, you're able to.
Wow!
And
started off.
And mental illness is whenever anything happens, and sometimes the least thing that's upsetting, you do something to make it worse. So if you can pause and consider options, you're mentally healthy. And I think if and the point is, one of the reasons you turn to religion is because you've been so disappointed in human beings that when you turn to them, they say, "Oh, I'd like to, but I'm busy," or it's your own fault, or they just don't care.
I'd like to set you free, but we got all this cotton to pick.
And so the whole idea is that if religion helps you to pause when something really upsetting happens and enables you to pause enough to sort of figure out other options other than making it worse, I think that's a good use of it. Also, one of the other reasons to not be an atheist is that when you're there having real fine sex and you've shot your load, if you're atheist, you have nothing to say. Who are you going to call out to?
Oh me.
Sorry about that. I always have to screw things up with bad humor, but there you go.
Oh, fraud. Oh, fraud.
You woke us up with a shotgun, Doc. That's the way to do it.
That was big. Dr. G did it. So now it's our turn. Today's topic, man, if you're just tuning in to the Voice of Reason, Zoe Williams on his ZOWHAT Morning Show. Please understand what we do up in here. The Black Mental Health Show. Is the church the desired psych ward for black people? Do black people have a problem with mental illness? Will we just refuse to deal with it in our community? Is it just something that, well, you already know, most black people don't fuck with doctors anyway.
At all.
Especially African American men. Like, I'm good.
We go to mama and them house, put some blessed oil on it.
Right. You understand what I'm saying? I'm about to have some motherfucking what's that? Apple cider vinegar, my nigga, and the shit'll be cool.
That's why
Sprinkle some of that apple cider vinegar over these pig
everybody
feet.
got that crazy cousin. That's what.
Right. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm not hallucinating. Someone's just trying to get my attention from the beyond.
Oh, shit. Here we go. Here's Dr.
Delete.
No, that was funny.
So, really quickly, true or false? The roots of racism, eugenics, and psychiatry are virtually inseparable. Oh, God. True or false? What is the scientific basis of the psychiatric illness profession? I don't know. True or false? Is it easier to deem someone crazy than it is to understand their genius? Oh, fuck. Because geniuses are always seen as nuts.
Right.
By the mundane. Oof. It's going to be very tough. And as Dr. G set up earlier, is the fucking church the black people's best way of dealing with mental illness? And how then can the church actually service people if people are choosing them over mental health practitioners?
That boy got the devil in him.
That boy got the devil in him. That boy
There's
devil in him.
an interesting point though about using the church and using your faith. There is something before there was all these meds and stuff. There was something called the talking cure, which meant if you could talk something out and get something off your chest, there was a chance that you wouldn't do something really self-destructive. And so being able to have sort of a dialogue with whoever you believe in and having a sense that they're somehow having that dialogue back with you, just that process of not feeling alone in the agitation can help you become less agitated.
Oh yeah, I'm a witness to that because that's most black people's parents. Is you can that's when they trying to cut you a break. Lord Jesus, don't let me look at this boy right now, or I will fuck him up. Yes, when you hear that, when you hear your parents start talking to God, you are really in some shit because they're like, you know what, I want to hit you with the car right now, but I need something to calm me down. So yes, I've been the recipient of that.
But you know what really bothers me, and Kev and Doc and of course Jeff, you guys chime in on this, man. Is there a real legitimate reason why black people don't fuck with psychiatrists and therapists and all of that?
Yes.
What is the real reason? Both you niggas, and then the doc is gonna come in.
Because the one thing, oh shit, this is almost rant worthy. The one thing that black people don't want to look like they have lost. They don't mind. It's okay if I lose my car or my house or my job or even my mate, because all of those things are outside of me. The last thing a black person want to look like they lost in all of this shit is they mind. You cannot, that mean you were somehow weak. That means this shit broke you.
Sign of weakness.
This shit broke you. And that's
exactly what it is.
They don't want to be there.
So you telling me mental illness in the black community in general is seen as a weakness? Oh, nigga, you ain't crazy. Get your shit together.
Right?
Fuck is you doing? Right?
Niggas a little off.
You just trying to lay up on mama now.
You just trying to lay up on mama now.
Every time somebody check in on you, you decide to eat a booger. Ain't nothing wrong with you.
You ain't fooling nobody with that crazy act.
No, I had an ex. My ex. If I
go ahead.
My ex had a boy who was supposedly he smoked some bad weed, and then he was prone to violence. Was supposedly the story. So one day we was outside, and he was. I could see he was trying to reach. He was trying to talk. He was like, yeah, sometimes I believe he was really sizing me up. Sometimes I just get upset and I lash out, and I don't know why, because and sometimes I'm angry with my grandparents and I get violent with my mother, and it just even talking about it makes me upset, and I'm getting a little upset now. I said, well, that's good for me to know, because you see where your arms are? If you bend your elbows, I'm gonna knock you the fuck out. And guess what? He calmed down. There's something about crazy that will take a back seat when crazier show up. In the words of my daddy, you're gonna see what happened when a fool meet a damn fool.
Dude, that is man. I have a cousin who's he's a little off, but he receives a check for his disability. Okay. And so he's the one known in the family as the crazy dude. So whenever he just trips out, and nobody goes out, nobody trips about it. When my grandmother was alive, he lived with her, and so she used to get the money for keeping him. So he had this little thing though, where he actually understood that if he went crazy, people would leave him alone and he had to do shit. So he would go off all the time, and so I would peep this little shit, and I'd be sitting back, and I'm like, man, you not nuts. And he looked back and said, yeah, I'm not crazy. He said, they think I'm crazy. He said, but when I act up, I don't have to do nothing. So I sat back and I was like, people who you consider who are off, they have very moments of lucidity where they understand. Right, where they understand. They come back in the game. They're just they're on another vibration, which is what I wanted to, which is really what, understanding what mental illness is. Thoughts are vibrations. So you got alpha waves and theta waves. Alpha waves consciousness, theta waves subconscious. So when you're off a little bit, your brain is like a tuning fork for these waves. For the waves that are coming in. So when you're off a little bit, you're just not tuning in to certain vibrations, to certain frequencies. And this is scientifically proven. So your brain is like a piano, like a strand on a piano. So your brain fiber is like a strand on the piano. When every vibration, every thought wave that exists is moving through us. So the brain fiber slows the wave down enough that it can register in the brain. Just like a piano, when you strike the thing on the piano, the fiber in the piano, that how dense it is, exactly how dense it is creates whatever key it's in. Exactly. Right. So that's exactly what a thought wave is. So and how your brain works with thought waves. Okay. So when people are a little off, they're just tuning in to another vibration that you just don't know, because he could do shit that no one else could do. Like he had amazing abilities that no one else had, but he would just see life just in an different way. I can
play the piano like Mozart, but I ain't finna help y'all clean this fucking house.
Let's go to Dr. G. Dr. G is an actual psychiatrist.
How about that?
Some years ago, and Jeff's gonna maybe understand this, I gave a talk to some wounded warriors outside St. Louis, and they were all messed up from the war, mentally, physically, and whatever. And I talked, and the talk went real poorly. And what happened is a number of these vets said to me, "Nothing personal, Doc, but you didn't serve, so immediately we don't even know why you're here." And the second thing is, we don't like psychiatrists, because what happens is we go see them, they're chewing gum, they're checking boxes, and when we get a tad frustrated, they say, "You got an anger problem. Let's add that to your diagnosis." And what happens is we're frustrated because they're hiding behind something. They're not going to get angry at us, but they're listening, but they're not hearing us. And then when we get frustrated, they say, "You got an anger problem."
Like a spectator with a clipboard.
Yeah. So if you look up PTSD CNN Goulston, Goulston, PTSD CNN Goulston, what I said in St. Louis is because the first talk went terribly. Then the next day, I said, all I'm going to do now is apologize to you for my profession, because they've done you wrong. You deserve better. And I'm going to try and bring attention to this. So when I left that, I wrote to the American Psychiatric, didn't hear from anything. But if you look up PTSD CNN Goulston, on the day when they said you didn't have to humiliate yourself to prove you were traumatized by war, I was on CNN, you'll find it. And at the end of it, I think it was Don Lemon at the time, but at the end of it, I said, I didn't think I'd get a chance to apologize to all the servicemen from my profession. Looks like I'm going to get it here. So I apologize on CNN to any servicemen for all psychiatry. And I remember it was off script. So Don Lemon said, well, that's pretty big of you, doctor. And then we, and then it was over. But I really mean that. I mean, people who have, some who have given all their families, and the all who have given some,
and some
they deserve better treatment than my profession. Now that said, when you're not allowed to get angry and be a damn fool over their fool and get them to calm down, and you have to, and even black psychiatrists are faced with this. You have to come from reason, but the other person's agitated. To build on what Kevin said, the vibes are all wrong. When you're there sort of like this, you're making the other person crazier, and you're trying to get them to listen to reason, and just even that bad vibe gets them to get more agitated, and then that allows you to then call them names, which we call psychiatric diagnoses.
But see, okay, let me just do this real quick. Is anybody in disagreement that crazy folk exist?
No.
No?
No.
No? There's crazy people out here, right?
Yeah. I remember when
cool.
crazy used to just paint it all.
Right. So crazy folk is out here.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I just want to be clear. We all agree
Yeah.
that crazy people exist.
Yes.
This is where the rubber meets the road. How the fuck can, because the question that somebody posed to me is psychiatry a pseudoscience? Now, see, psychiatry, and Doc knows the history, and he'll tell us, psychiatry is born out of torture. There's some evil origins.
Medieval shit, yeah.
Right? Especially as it pertains to black people. Psychiatry is used to buttress racism. Right? It was used to justify racism. It was the scientific arm, quote unquote, to say, yeah, these motherfuckers need a whooping if they run away. They have a disease. It's drapetomania.
How could you possibly want to leave this?
Why would you ever want to run away from slavery? This is the best possible situation you could be in. You must be mentally ill. Who was the doctor that did that? Was it Rush? You guys remember? Y'all don't remember this?
Benjamin Rush, yeah.
Benjamin Rush,
Dr.
who is the
Mengele type
fucking
shit.
father
Of psychiatry.
of psychiatry. Is it Rush or Cartwright? One of the two. Those guys said if you run away, you got drapetomania. And the only way to treat it, treatment later evolves into medical model, right? The medical model. This is our treatment. Well, if your treatment was torture before, who's to say what the fuck you're doing today isn't? This brother responded to the question, how can psychiatry be a pseudoscience when it's based on scientific research and study? Wait a minute. Thorazine. Can we talk about the history of Thorazine, Doc? The chemical lobotomy, the lobotomy at first was let's go in your fucking brain with an ice pick and fuck some shit up, right? And shut something off by damaging your brain.
Right.
So now we have a chemical that can do that. See, I'm asking, there's a real reason why black people look at the church. The church might be less intrusive than actual psychiatry, which is a branch of medicine that hasn't really, Doc will tell you, the motherfuckers are still on the fence, like, how you know what's wrong with him? There's a lot of people,
Right.
how you know what's wrong with him? He might be off, but
Now, how you know?
How you know?
So let me ask the three of you: Have any of you dealt with someone who is really sort of out of their mind and trying to overcome them by being a bigger damn fool than them doesn't work? Have you ever dealt with someone like that?
No, my damn fool's pretty good.
Yeah.
So
Matter of fact, no, I got a goddamn fool. So yeah, I done dealt with some crazy people before in this place. And I'm not just saying.
Have you dealt with people who are literally?
I've snapped them out of it immediately.
They're hearing voices. So have you dealt with people who are hearing command hallucinations?
Yeah,
Yes.
I have.
Yes,
and
I
I
did.
told them you need to reach in and get to which one of them is it? Steve? Steve is the sane one. You need to ask Steve if I'm fucking around right now.
Steve is the sane one.
Get in there and ask if I'm fucking around. Because I'm going to tell you what, ass whoopings work. Okay? I'm going to tell you something about attitude correction that gets you in the right place. But I will say this.
Hey, go find Steve in your head.
That's right.
And so Steve come to me.
I will say this though, that convenient insanity. Could you imagine being able to use that as just regular? Hey Bob, can you work this weekend? Hey, I do. Okay, I'm sorry I asked. If you could just play crazy and it would really work in certain when you don't want to do shit. Oh my God, no. I'm not saying that everybody who is entirely out of their minds needs this. What I am saying is that, like women, all people who are diagnosed with some kind of emotional disturbance suffer from varying degrees of insanity. I think every woman does. I think everything from cut your eyebrows off and paint them back to drown your kids in a station wagon. That's the sliding scale that all women are on. Okay, there's a sliding scale of insanity. Now, if somebody is legitimately way out there, no, I haven't. I'm not that far.
So when's the last time you walked through Skid Row and someone is out there and they are talking
seen that.
and they're having a conversation that is very real to them?
Oh, yeah.
And then you've told them to cut it out.
No, I wouldn't tell them to cut
Why
it
not?
out. Because
why not find their Steve? Their inner Steve.
Because I don't need. Because they don't need. They only need. Oh yeah, I like that. They only need their inner Steve if they come within my atmosphere with some bovine feces that don't fit my program. As in, you want to wipe a booger on my son's jacket. You on some of that shit? You better find your inner Steve. Because I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to group all the dudes in your head together real close when I stomp your fucking ears together if you get too close to my kids. I don't give a goddamn about what you've been through. That's my son.
I love it when you go empathy.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
No, and Doc, I'm not trying to say that there shouldn't be some type of resources or help for those kinds of people. What I'm saying is, oftentimes in America, some shit born out of evil will turn into the authority that we go to for answers.
Right, because it's never questioned.
And I'm saying, wait, hold the fuck up. You gonna pour alcohol into a motherfucker's brain and kill tissue? Who told you that was good? You gonna dunk motherfuckers in cold water? Oh, because that stop them from acting crazy. That's him finding the inner Steve.
Yep.
Right.
That's exactly.
The motherfucker acting crazy, dump his ass in some cold water. Let's see what happens. Okay, don't do that no more. So,
good morning, sanitarium. We will be doing our inner Steve trials this afternoon.
Right. So for me, black people in America, Moors, indigenous folk for Kev, yeah, them motherfuckers with color. We've been taking it high and hard from every aspect, whether it be prison, whether it be education, whether it be the medical. You had a fucking president who was so afraid to be black because he would be labeled one of these negative things that psychiatry signed off on.
Angry black man.
Now, what really bothers me about Doc is one of the best people I know. Am I lying?
Am I lying?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
As a fucking human being.
As a human, one of the best humans I know.
One of the best human beings I know.
Absolutely.
What I don't get.
Now that's psychotic. Go on.
No, this is what I don't get about Doc. Doc is a Jew, and he's a psychiatrist, and he's loaded. Do you know most of the what are those motherfuckers called? The SS Reich niggas?
Oh yeah.
Were psychiatrists. The Third Reich, those guys were psychiatrists because they bought into the racist dogma of Hitler.
Them brain pimps.
They believed in that eugenics shit. And I'm saying, Doc, your people got put in the oven by other psychiatrists. How did you, as a Jew, wind up as a psychiatrist? Fuck.
Well, look here. Okay,
you got to know the history of this shit, right?
Let me jump out in front of this for a second, okay? As you and maybe, and this may wind up to be a very weak argument. Get ready to defend your own self. I'm about to come up with some horrible shit.
Here we go.
It's the same thing as saying, well, you know what? Jews shouldn't. How the hell do you drive a Mercedes? It's a German car. How do you drive a Volkswagen? The Volkswagen came from Adolf Hitler, and it meant people's car, and he got Ferdinand Porsche to design it. How the fuck do you drive those cars? Well,
it's made in Alabama.
It's made. There you go. It's
made in Alabama.
It's made in Alabama.
It's American.
That doesn't inspire any confidence. Alabama is like Mississippi without that zeal for higher education.
Wow.
Now
it's made in a Jewish suburb of Alabama. No,
that's hilarious. Is there one?
Is there one?
Is there one?
We own Alabama.
Sure,
Be
there
quiet.
is.
Quietly. But yeah, you can't. I don't know. And I get it. We're the seed. You're saying the seed makes the entire tree evil. I'm saying that you're gonna have to find some good out of this tree. Find some fucking shade.
It's hard, Jeff, because Doc will tell you. We're going to let Doc tell us, too.
Okay.
The shit transitioned from torture to medicine. Now,
So we found a medical way to do the other shit.
Doc, tell us about the pharmaceutical industry and how this shit is medicine that causes brain damage. Prozac, when them shits first came out, people killing. It's a medicine. I was fucking crazy. I was manic. It killed my kids and all.
Damn.
Talk to him, Doc. Tell him, man.
I'm going to give. I'll give you a little quick history lesson. I'm sure none of you have ever heard of the moral treatment in American psychiatry in the early 1800s.
No.
What happened is back in England there was something called Bedlam. I think it was the name of
The
a big
hospital.
big hospital, and they had people chained to things, and they were watering and all that stuff before the meds and all that stuff, and because they're just about to hurt themselves or other people. So in New England, what happened is there was, I forget the guy's name. I think it might have been Pinel, Pinel, if you look it up. And he had this idea, why don't we just treat them like human beings? So what would happen is he'd have the severest mentally ill people live with him in his home and they do gardening together.
No, we're not going to do that.
They have dinners together. He'd treat them like human beings, and the cure rate was like 80 to 90%. And so people said, "Oh, this is a good idea. I think you should do it bigger." And so bigger became institutions. And once it reached a certain tipping point, the humanity of the institutions went away. But if you look up the moral treatment of American psychiatry, and I think that, the problem is we're living in a world that doesn't have time for the pain. Let's face it. And when you don't, whatever the song was, and when you don't have time for the pain, it's got to go somewhere, and it can go inward, and you can destroy yourself. Or if you're mad as hell and you can't take it anymore, it's going to go outward.
I think that's Carly Simon.
Oh, there you go. But there you go. But the interesting thing is, if you make time for the pain, if you actually hear people out. Actually, I put up a blog about how do you break through to suicidal people that just went up in Psychology Today, and we can talk about that after the break. If anyone wants tips, if they're worried about someone that they know that's feeling a tad suicidal, this might help you.
I think this is a very big conversation, because when we look at the condition of African Americans, trying to be like another person because you've been conditioned by that, right? The conditioning. It's no different than Pavlov's dog, right? Motherfucker walk in with some snacks, the dog starts salivating. Motherfucker walk in with some stacks, the broads start salivating. I mean, I don't want to get poetic, but Jesus, like, we've been conditioned by a sick society, in my opinion. I always mention this Krishnamurti quote, "It is no measure of health to be fully acclimated or integrated into a sick society." So we're asking illness for the cure. When I look at psychiatry, it's not,
Right.
Come on, man. Like, can we talk about it, man? Shit,
Well, that's what I was talking about as far as mental health, or what the mind is. You need to understand the difference between the mind, the brain, and the mind. So
this is good.
Get into that.
Set it up.
The brain, again, as I was saying, is more of a tuning fork. So there's diseases called Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. And so
Nigga, that ain't new. Everybody got that.
No, they knew. But what they found, what causes it is a loss of something called the substantia nigra in the brain, which is called the black substance, which is melanin, basically neuromelanin. So when you start to lose neuromelanin, and as I've said on the show before, melanin is a superconductor. So it's the way you can receive vibrations through melanin, through your melanin, and the more energy or the more powerful you are, the better you eat, the more vibrations you receive. So it's receiving vibrations throughout within the universe through the brain. As far as I just lost my train of thought.
The nigra.
The substantia nigra. So
Better get it together. I got some ignorance right here in the gun.
No, you don't. But no. So because I was trying to save this till later. But so basically, there's a book called The Science of Hermetic Motion and Number. Okay,
that's a great book.
So
Who's it by?
This
What's the name of it?
I don't know who it's by, but it's 2 books actually that's put together. It's called Occult Geometry and the Science of Hermetic Motion and Number. So in the back of the book, it starts to break down the alternative, what ancients used to think about science, and it put together the ancients and actual science of today. And it started to break down what vibration and the brain actually was. And this is where it breaks off of what the brain is attuning for. So when mental illness is just basically everybody's receiving different energies. And so when you're what's called mental illness, you're just literally on a different vibration. You're receiving a different frequency. As I stated before, cymatics is vibrations relation to form. So it shows you when you reach a certain frequency, there's information in frequency. So it's basically about, or how the ancients used to do it, is they used to meditate and tune themselves to certain vibrations to be able to pull that energy in and receive information.
So right there, this goes back to the point about maybe the church not being a bad idea. Damn the doctrine. Damn the story. The story is a metaphor for a larger understanding.
Exactly.
Right? So damn that. Damn the specifics. To me, the people who take the story literal are crazy. Right? So
prayer used to be meditation.
But prayer changes. I mean, they're doing research on prayer, right, Doc? And how it changes people's brain waves and people's brain function. I think they did some experiment with these inner city kids where the kids had to meditate. They're in the inner city. They had to meditate for an hour. And their grades went through the roof, and the violence went down in the neighborhood. Listen, so I'm not mad at. You see, some people think I might be making a stab at the church by saying, is the church the desired psych ward for black people? What I'm going to say is, I think the church as the psych ward is better than the psychiatrists and the medicines that Big Pharma has in store for them, because those. Listen, Doc, tell me if I'm wrong. When you take these psychotropes, does it change your brain forever? Do some of them change your brain forever?
Some of them do, especially some of the side effects, and that's what they're always trying to. They are really trying to eliminate those, because when Thorazine and Haldol and those came out, people, it might keep you kind of like in sort of in a straitjacket without having the straitjacket on, but you'd walk around with all these edgy kind of movements. So they're trying to take that out of that. But there are long-lasting effects. But the long-lasting effect of not medicating someone, say, who's severely suicidally depressed, the long-term side effect is you don't have a long-term, because you kill yourself. So the key is everything done selectively as opposed to a shotgun approach has some effectiveness. I mean, there has been a lot of work put into it. The problem is, because everybody is rushed through, and in this day and age, you got to get through to the next patient with having no understanding of them, but you'll still medicate, because especially at the VA, in 20 minutes, you got to see the next one, 3 an hour. And so you don't have any understanding of their vibrations, any understanding of their humanity, any understanding about their story. And actually, someone just pointed out something, and I'm wondering if you'd agree with this. This is a slight tangent. Someone was saying the problem with millennials is that they listen, but they don't hear. Meaning they'll listen, they'll jump in, they'll often jump in with something because there's an agitation before the other person fully surfaces what the heck is going on. And I think that's true in the medical profession. People will jump in with this, you do this, when you haven't really even surfaced what was really going on
in the first place.
And what's amazing is when you surface what's going on, you'll just watch the person calm down.
But there's so many justifications on a pseudo-intellectual side of it. Chemical imbalance has been disproved. People are like, fucking chemical imbalance, but you use the terminology chemical imbalance to prescribe poisonous medicines.
This cat I know, he was a young kid, and his mother, he was termed or diagnosed with ADD and.
That shit has been proven to be ADD has been proven to be. We just made that shit up.
So they just started giving him drugs. They was like, fuck it, we just gonna give him the pharmaceuticals. So then they took an X-ray of his brain.
Let me give you this, and I'm gonna throw it right back to you. I was a hyperactive kid, crazy than a motherfucker, having a goddamn ball. My mother never put me on medicine. I was hyper. Running around,
you're still hyper,
jumping off walls, climbing trees, The neighborhood niggas call me Spider-Man. They go Spider-Man. He in the train.
Right.
I was having a ball. If my mother,
Ain't nothing wrong with that, boy.
Let me just say, if my mother put me on some kind of meds, because that's what they used to call it before. It was called ADHD. Just he's hyperactive.
Yep.
He's just got energy to burn. Do you know I wouldn't have been able to write 3 books?
Wow.
Do you know I would not be this dude today?
And that's what I was about to say. They took X-rays of his brain, and they showed him a healthy brain after he had been on the pharmaceuticals. And they showed him his brain, and his brain looked nothing like the actual healthy brain. It had little small pits and things in it from the pharmaceutical. So it does change your brain chemistry.
Fucks your shit up. If you wasn't crazy before,
really
you damn sure gonna be crazy after.
He cool. I mean, he cool now. He may have some memory lapses, but it does fuck your brain up.
Now, I seen a homeboy of mine when I was at Loud Records, 94. This dude was a promising DJ. He was the homie, talented. Got a hold of some fucked up chemical in his weed. I saw him again. He was talking to 9 people that wasn't there. I was like, yo. He was like, yeah, because you know. And then,
or was they there on another vibration?
How about that?
But I'm saying,
How about that?
the chemical did that.
The chemical probably
Fucked him up. So what I understand is, and I understand there's this is why we did the show a year ago called pathological altruism. You can't be nuts yourself and then cast yourself as an altruist. Let me help you. Nigga, you're Dr. Frankenstein. Do you understand what I'm saying?
let me help you.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I will show you the way. Marco, shut up!
Right.
And who the fuck?
To me, I think, and Doc, this is just me because you're my guy. I want you to talk about this. I think you have to call them to the floor. White people like to, rise out of the ashes of evil and come out as the shining knight with the answers without acknowledging
Where it came from.
where all of this came from. You can't just say, I have the answers and I can help you, without first saying, yeah, we did torture you.
Fuck history. It started with me.
Tuskegee. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And all kind of stuff like that. And we call that treatment. You got black people running around saying, yes, we need treatment. It's like, wait, can we first question?
Where that came from?
Dude, now questioning is a mental disorder. Oppositional defiant disorder. Am I lying, Doc? Questioning. Oppositional defiance.
You got questions, we've got pills.
So what's the difference between a psychiatrist and a priest? You can't question neither of them, or something's gonna be wrong with you. You going to hell if you question the priest, and you're going to a cell if you question the psychiatrist. Speak on it, Doc.
Tell me what happened. I'm going to tell you a quick story. This guy comes in.
Here we go.
No. I want you to wait and tell me what happened. I'll try and make it quick so we can go to break. So this guy comes in. He's a schizophrenic, and he looks at me and he says, I've seen 6 psychiatrists last year. I said, well, you've been busy. He says, well, I'm looking for another one, and you were recommended. And he says, before you say anything, you need to know that that the people above me just make noise all night long. They won't let me sleep. They're just making noise. And I was about to say something relatively, compassionate, whatever. And then he looks at me and he says, but before you say anything, you need to know that I am on the top floor of my building and there is no access to the roof. Like there's no one really above him. And then he looks at me with a Chris Rock smile like, huh? What do you think of that? And so I said to myself, okay, those 6 psychiatrists have told him, gave him a reality check. Well, I know that's real for you. I know that's some of your symptoms. I know, that's why it's so agitating. But that didn't help. And so I asked myself, do I want to help him or do I want to give him a reality check? And he's looking at me with that big smile. And I paused and I said, I want to help him. And I look him right in the eye. And his name was John. I'll say, John, I believe you. And he looked at me. And then he just started crying like a feral cat. He just caved over. And I thought, what have I unleashed? But I know kind of the space. And I let it go. And after about 6 or 7 minutes, he stops crying. because I thought I'd unleash someone really crazy. And he looks at me and he smiles with total relief and he says, "It does sound crazy." And then he let it go.
Wow.
So in other words, that was hearing someone out as opposed to taking issue with them. So what the heck happened vibrationally? I didn't diagnose him. I didn't do whatever. I validated whatever he was thinking, whatever he saw. And apparently he'd been judged and categorized.
Right.
So why did that get through to him? Why did he kind of turned a corner? He was able to be sane because he was the one who laughed at himself. He heard himself, what he had said, and I didn't judge him.
But I think it's also your ability to build rapport with him. Because if you don't have any rapport, he's not going to be open to you.
Okay, so how does rapport help mental illness? Because what we're saying is a lot of the black community has rapport with their faith. They feel a rapport with much more than with their exes and whatever.
Right.
And, so they feel rapport with Jesus and they feel a connection.
Right.
And so I think it is that connection where they feel less alone and stuff.
Yeah.
But how or why did that work? What are you thinking, Jeff?
Why do
That little anecdote. Why did he?
Because when something that's very condescending is to say, like those other doctors did, I know that's real for you. That prepositions are usually condescending.
Right.
Okay. Could you could you put your hands behind your back for me?
Could you
Motherfucker,
please?
for you? Just for you, I'll put my hands behind my back. Yeah. So
Would you please do that?
Yeah.
Yes.
To say that that's real for you implies that it may not be real. And I'm way over here with Kev on this, that there is some shit going on other realities.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't, you wouldn't see this on a record contract in perpetuity throughout the universe.
That's there.
That's
I've seen those contracts.
A record contract. So that means they're on another reality. In another reality, some shit is going on.
Wait a minute. I don't think the lawyers who wrote that were coming from that perspective.
Yeah.
They were just coming from a perspective of greed, but I see the point. Go
We
ahead.
want to be greedy over on another astral plane. So if that is true, then just because people say, oh, his elevator don't go all the way to the top. You know what? Maybe he's stuck on the 13th and a half floor, and there's some shit going on in that half floor that you said, you know what? I can relate to an elevator going 13.5 up, and I can relate to. So by saying that, he was like, whoo.
But Jeff, you know what's so crazy? We won't call a theoretical physicist crazy,
right,
for saying, yo, there's M theory, which is the multiple universe, the multiverse, right? And the multiverse manifests as bubbles, like soap bubbles.
Right.
That's what the mathematical models are telling us. Or they could be fine sheets of universes. Now, if we talk to a guy who's considered crazy saying, in a moment of lucidity, one of those universes are leaking through. And my other self in the other universe, Doc would be like, this motherfucker needs Thorazine. Where's the Thorazine shot?
Could I get a 55-gallon drum of Thorazine in
Right.
here right now?
I need 6,700 cc's.
Stat.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, we won't call that theoretical physicist crazy. Right. A theoretical physicist has never seen a black hole. We can't get close enough.
That was that movie with Jet Li, the one.
Right. So do you understand what I'm saying? So it's a theory. Now, it's based on sound mathematics, but it's still a theory. And, the way the universe and everything is moving and mechanically moving, there has to be a super mega black hole at the center of it. And the best we can do is give you interpretations of what we think it is, but we don't know exactly what it is. They're not considered crazy for that hypothesis. But somebody who hasn't been trained, this is what I'm telling you about the way society is structured. Psychiatry, logic, all of that stuff is designed to keep the infrastructure of racism in place. I know a lot of people, what? What do you mean? When we look at the origins of psychiatry, it was used to validate racism. When we look at logic is based on authority. Well, the master is the authority, and what he says goes. And he can say some shit that's crazy, and it'll float.
Do you think it's keeping racism in place, or maybe it's keeping people with the legitimate right to be angry from getting angry? So it's not so. If you have a legitimate right to being angry and wanting to act on that because of decades or centuries of the way you've been treated, maybe it's not so much racism. We're going to keep a lid on the legitimate anger you have towards us.
We're going to use psychiatry to keep a lid on your grievance. Fuck.
You got so many grievances.
But it is racism. But fuck.
You got so many grievances that we have run out of places to put them. We put them behind bars. We put your grievances in the projects. We put your grievances everywhere we could. So now all we got left is to put them in the crazy house and medicate them. Yeah, and all we're doing is medicating your grievances. That's some dope shit right there. Wow. I'm glad I smoked weed before I came.
Listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Jeff's intellectual rant. This is a very powerful show. This is a very in-depth show. I appreciate all of the contributors. You guys are brilliant geniuses. Thanks for picking up my slack. I'm fucking up today, but I love it. It's a great show. Don't forget, pre-order your copy of The Holographic Relationship, a deeper look at the union between God, intimacy, and consciousness. Great book on my website, IamZoWilliams.com. Pre-order right now if you're enjoying today's show. We'll be back in 2.2 Hot Button Radio Radio. We'll be back. Ladies and gentlemen, the ZOWHAT Morning Show is back in the building. Freaky deaky. We talking about mental illness in the black community. First and foremost, we already know there are mentally ill people, and we know mentally ill people need treatment. But when the industry is dominated by greed and money, the industry lacks morals. And when they lack morals, they will harm people. There's no real treatment out there without morality. You can't.
That's where you start.
Do you understand? It has to be a moral industry. And when you look at the history of psychiatry, it is far from moral.
Like a cake without flour.
If you jump out of the torture bed right into the big pharmacy bed, Jesus, where's the morality? How can you really treat people? I'm not saying that there aren't crazy people, and I'm not saying that people don't need actual treatment, but where are they going to get it from? The devil? We don't go to the devil for salvation. Okay, I'm sorry. Jeff Brown's intellectual rant is brought to you by This Nigga Here Productions.
This nigga here.
As soon as I get off the radio, I am going to trademark that. I think what we're actually discussing is how society has managed to put the dark ages in a bottle.
Shit.
If your sanity is measured by how much you make shit worse, then worse begs the question, for whom? It's supposed to be your sanity is measured by how much you make shit worse for yourself. But what it really is how much you make shit inconvenient for commerce.
Go there. Go.
Wow.
Shit.
Okay. You've made shit worse for commerce because people don't want to come out and shop because you're walking around like Night of the Living Dead out this bitch, and we got to figure out what to do with you. You are a problem because motherfuckers don't know how to shop around you. Really is the core issue. I can't shop. I can't go to work because Uncle Eddie is crazy. You can't work. If you can't work, you can't shop. So we gonna have to fix that. It always comes back to money, in my opinion. The church is the church is trying to do right. I give them that. On a certain level, on a certain intrinsic level, of course. the church has somehow set the pick between you and the Creator and called it Jesus or Allah or giving it a name, but that's not what they're trying. They're doing their right wrong. That's just one of my Uncle James.
They're doing their right wrong.
You gotta learn how to do your right, and you gotta learn how to do your wrong right.
Ooh,
do your wrong right. You gotta do your wrong right. You can't cheat on your wife and have a bitch you cheating with fucking up your house. You're doing your wrong right.
Do your dirty.
You're doing your wrong. You're doing your wrong wrong.
You're doing your wrong wrong.
You're doing your wrong wrong. You gotta do your wrong right. Okay, I do my wrong right. Ain't no right in busting my daughter's gym teacher in the face because she told me he made a pass at him. Ain't no right in it. But I'm gonna do that wrong right if I have to. Y'all ain't gonna catch it. He just gonna come to work with a big head. Where I put praise and ridicule is just as important as where I put diagnosis and medicine. There's a great many people who, during the formative years of a child, have made them into this thing that doesn't work. And it is because of where you put your praise and your ridicule. Crazy is often inconvenient for the rest of us, is often what is deemed inconvenient for the rest of us to deal with. When really, these people have, like Kevin alluded to earlier, they see some shit you don't. If you believe that there's shit out there that you can't see, faith, evidence of things not seen. Maybe it's just these crazy people got faith in the shit that you pretend is out there.
Wow.
If I have questions, if you have questions, I have pills. It's not progressive treatment.
Wow.
It is not. If I don't fit into the boxes that crazy people made with methods that we all agree are crazy, then can you really call me crazy? That's what Zoe alluded to earlier. It's where all this shit comes from. Black people, you are so happy to take and this is where this is the seed of your cowardice. You will talk about how whitey ain't shit, how this system ain't shit, but you take all of that shit and eat it with a fucking ladle, and you don't even take a look at it. You don't even question it. You don't question what's in a bottle. You don't question why you know what you know. You don't question how everything for you is being picked. Have you noticed on Netflix? Anybody else notice this new function where it says we've chosen some things for you, and then when you click on certain movies, it says 98% match or 54% match. I'm like, motherfucker, why is it that
What you know about me?
Why is it that the Mac, when I watch the Mac, I get a 98% match, but when I watch What the Bleep Do We Know, I get a 15% match?
Wow.
What the fuck are you saying, Mr. Matchmaker?
This ain't for you, nigga.
This ain't for you. And don't act crazy because we might have some other shit for you. I'm done.
Wow.
Wow.
Man, that shit was ginormous.
I got a Hulk smash in no particular order.
Yes, man. I got a special little interaction for you guys coming up real quickly. But before we do that, let's get this caller off the line. They've been sitting there for an hour.
Damn.
Caller, you're on the line. What's your name and where you calling from? Speak on it. Caller.
Hello.
Am I on?
Yes, you are.
Hey,
Speak up.
I'm on.
Hey, how are
Long-time
you?
Listener, first-time caller. Doing good. How are you guys?
Hi, what's your name?
I'm Nisi
Oh,
from
hi,
Atlanta.
Nisi. You sound like
Nisi
my
from the
ex-wife.
A. What up, Nisi?
Hey, I wanted to answer one of the questions you asked earlier. I got the answer, but now I forget the question. It was about why black folks go to church as opposed to dealing with their issues head on. And, to me, it's really basic because I've experienced this myself. It's, when you go to church, you tell them you have an issue. The first thing they say, pray on it. They don't say, oh, go here, do this, do that.
Right.
Pray on it. And once you pray on it, you leave it up to God. So you don't have to do any work. You just pray. and that's why our issues never really get resolved. For that matter.
Wow.
No, I could smoke a bag of that because let me just say there is validity in prayer, but there's also validity in high quality information. So imagine if the church was offering high quality information along with prayer.
Doing they right.
Yeah, doing their right. Like, I mean, with the kids are different today than they were when we were young. If my daughter has a pain in her side, she pissed me off the other day, by the way, because she had a pain in her side. And so she texted me and said, I may have pancreatitis. Okay, the fuck is going on? I was like, well, you was at the nurse? Did the nurse at the school say this? No, I was on WebMD. And I was
now you got pancreatitis.
You see what I'm saying?
God.
So again, the kids have access to so much information. They don't know what's quality information, what's not. They're trying to self-diagnose. But when you have a church that can buttress and support prayer with actual tools, with actual skilled individuals, now we're dealing with something different. For instance, there's an American Association of African American Psychologists who broke away from psychiatry as a whole because they understood the racial bias inherent in the practice. So when you, as a church, team up with those guys, and now you're offering prayer, you're offering counseling, you're offering mediation, and you're offering some kind of therapy from a base of people who got the information but also understand the people that they're servicing. Now we have a layered doing your right. You know what I'm saying? We have a layered approach to deal with that.
As opposed to telling your daughter, oh, you have pancreatitis, that's just swelling. Clean your room. That'll make it go down.
Right.
Yeah. What the fuck?
So it was funny. I was like, yo, you can't just call us and say,
I have pancreatitis.
She put a fucking emoji by it, smiling and hell. So we set the doctor's appointment. She was good, and I was like, it's a pain. You play basketball,
right?
Stop. You know what I mean? So the point that I'm trying to make to the sister is just a layered approach. It can't just be prayer. Right. It has to be more than just prayer. Prayer is good. But prayer alone is not enough.
Right.
Do you understand? So thank you so much for the call. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
you. That was beautiful.
Thank you. Welcome. Hope you call
Bye.
back. Do you think she's saying praying takes the worry out of never getting any better?
No, no, and you're right. Listen, y'all know me.
Yep.
You motherfuckers know me. I don't fuck with dogma.
Right.
But I fuck with prayer.
Absolutely.
Prayer is powerful shit. Whatever the thinker thinks, the prover will prove. All is mind. When you can
draw shit to you.
Yes, man. I always say the quality of your thought equals the quality of your experience.
Prayer used to be meditation.
Yes.
They took it out and put in prayer outside of yourself, but inside of yourself.
Because now here's the pimp game with that. I'm gonna take all of this shit that is good. Fasting, prayer, faith, studying, supplication, all of those things are good, but I'm gonna funnel it through come here every Sunday and give me 10%.
Right.
I'm gonna funnel it through that shit right there. And when it comes out on the other end, I'm going to make sure that it is far less effective than it would be without me in the way, because if it's as effective as it would be, you will eventually figure out if I don't water this down. That's the whole point of this shit. I gotta water this shit down so that when you get it and use it, you won't figure out that I'm watering this shit down.
Wow. Listen, we got a special little interaction right here. Our engineer done been through some shit.
Oh, yeah.
He's gonna go back and forth with Dr. G. Doc, you can question him about his experience.
He got that white boy survived some shit haircut.
Right. Shit.
That haircut, he been through some shit. He just got down off the mountain when niggas was eating people.
Right. This is the
Made it
clean.
back.
This is the sober version of David Lee Roth. Go ahead, Dr. G.
First name is what again?
Daniel.
Okay, so Daniel shared during one of the breaks that he was on meds, Adderall, Strattera, a bunch of things from when he was a kid all the way through when? 9th grade?
I started about 1st grade and ended about 9th grade.
Wow.
Yeah, so talk about your recollection of why you were started on it.
So I remember my parents would always. So my parents got divorced when I was 4 years old, and within a week and a half, I had a new stepmom and 3 new sisters. So I was going through emotional time when I was younger, when I first started getting on these pills, and I had a lot of hyperness. I could never pay attention, couldn't read till I was in about 3rd grade, and started on these pills. And doctor would say, you know, he's just got ADHD and he's dyslexic. You know, hopefully he'll grow out of it. Hopefully he'll be fine. But I think that emotionally, when kids go through stuff, it could trigger certain things in the brain. You know, but I was actually living in Oakland when I first started.
Town business.
Yeah, when I first started taking meds. And the doctors up in the Bay were very like skeptical to start me off on pills at such a young age. As soon as my parents got divorced, after like 2 years, moved down to LA. And all the doctors that I saw here were just like, yo, we need to boost it more. You know, we gotta get this kid right. We gotta get him to learn to read. We gotta get him to do all that. But it was just being hyper, not being looking at words and only really looking at the beginning of the word and the end of the word and putting whatever you could imagine into your own head. But
so how'd you get off it, and what?
So when I got off it, I was the beginning of high school, so about 9th grade, and I told my mom, and I'll be honest, I started smoking weed in 9th grade.
I bet you that calmed you down.
How about that?
Yeah.
How about that? Ain't nothing to be ashamed of.
CBDs. Let's go.
Yeah.
So when I started medicating myself,
How about that?
I didn't tell my parents that I was doing so, but I told my mom that I was no longer going to take these pills because I couldn't eat, couldn't real sleep. If you missed a day, you were just it was the worst. Yeah, it was the worst. Like your brain was chemically not in balance because you've been grown from being how old are you in 1st grade?
5, 6.
Yeah, 5, 6,
6.
Yeah. To about what 15, 14, 15, 9.
Wow, that's a long time.
So that's brain developing still?
Yeah, so I'm 24 now. So I was on pills a majority of my life. You know, now to think about it, but 9th grade was when I cut it off, and it immediately, like, the first year was tough. Almost went to juvie the first year after pills, but I think that was just the emotions in my brain, just trying to, or the wires trying to just rehardwire
Reconnect themselves,
trying to balance it out. Yeah.
So it was crazy.
And add diet to that, and mental stimulus and video games and that's heavy, man.
My dad is 1st generation American. He's from England. He's from Northern England, and like his uncle had a lobotomy. Like he had a. Wow. They always said that they took his personality. Damn. He tried to go at the neighbor with the axe, so he got taken in a van and a strap.
They brought the paddy wagon out.
Yeah.
Let's get him.
And never spoke, never anything after that. So I feel like my dad was just not used to the way things worked, you know. And out here, when they were like, "Yo, we got pills for your kid,"
he was like, "That's great,
like, great."
Awesome. So you mean you're not gonna take him to take a fucking Black and Decker power drill and go into his temple and come back out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Doc G.
Well, I'm glad. Thanks for sharing that. A lot of people got a lot of help from that, and that doesn't mean one way there's one solution to any of this sort of stuff. I'm guessing that it did help you focus in some ways, even though the side effects were awful. So you probably had some experience. My guess is it wasn't just total placebo, but the side effects were so awful that you just couldn't take it anymore. And I was thinking about what started you off. Sometimes I think if you medicate the people around a crazy person who are making them crazy, the crazy person becomes sane. but it's just too costly to medicate everybody in the family and their 1st degree relative. Yeah. And there's something called the identified patient, which means when you have a real dysfunctional family, but everyone says, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with us. It's him.
We're good. Yeah, he's crazy."
Then you can co-opt the professionals to agree with you. And the point is, if there's a term that I have called pathological integrity, and that's when you cannot tolerate the bullshit around you that everyone else is denying,
Holy shit.
You know, without it making you crazy. And you're not trying to invent it. It's like something just isn't adding up.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, and the hope of the world is in the heart of people who suffer from pathological integrity.
That's all of us who are trying to deal with the Trump supporters.
Yeah. So the key is to not give up on that. You mentioned something though about L.A. and San Francisco, because I went to college up in San Francisco. I've been living here, and I hadn't thought about it till you just said it. But I'm guessing that people are not very curious in Los Angeles. It's a very high consumption, immediate gratification thing. And so in order to really delve into what might be going on so you don't have to give them pills, let's just give them pills.
Yeah.
And that was always the prejudice. When we were up in Northern California, at least
Right.
we weren't embarrassed to think about something and pause and consider it.
Right.
Whereas in LA, it's the fear of missing out or whatever.
Right.
Oh, just throw some pills.
Right.
Check the boxes next.
The pill is the parent.
That's right.
Oh.
And the crazy thing is like when I lived in the Bay, the doctor would actually talk to me. And when I moved down here, my stepmom, you know, we're Jewish. She asked her Jewish friends, who should I go see? I'm not from here. So they sent us to a Jewish doctor, Dr. Steinberg or something. But he literally
that narrows it down to about 1,000.
Yeah.
I was about to say, yeah.
All right. 4 million Steinberg.
I throw a grenade, I'm going to kill. Oh, my God.
You would go to his office, you'd sit in the office waiting for him in the waiting room for about 30 minutes. He'd call you into his office. You'd be sitting into his office for 5 minutes while he would barely be looking at you, picking his nose, and then he would be like, where's my $150 check? Here's your prescription.
Wow.
So they wouldn't even take the real time to talk to you, what's going on. It literally was more time waiting than this guy who was actually going to be putting pills into my body.
See?
Which I always thought was crazy. Like, if I could say one thing to people listening, if you got kids and they hyper at the very young age, just pills are not always the right way to go.
Take them to the park like you do your hyper dog.
Damn.
Okay, so I got to give my suicidal tip for parents. If you're worried about someone in your life, and so imagine if someone had said this to you. If you imagine that someone's in a dark place, a kid, a spouse, or whatever, a couple of questions to ask them. The first thing is, at its worst, how bad does it get for you in there? And the person's going to go, huh? And you say, at its worst, how bad does it get for you in there? And what will happen is you're going to start to feel it coming up pretty bad. And then if you ask them, at its worst, when it's feeling that bad, how alone do you feel? They're going to say, totally alone. And then if you follow up, and when you're feeling that way, what does it make you want? What does it make you want to do? And then you share, not go on, kill myself, whatever. And what is it that you do? Well, I haven't killed myself yet. And then if you can say to that person, I can't allow you to be alone in there by yourself. And so I'm going to need your help sometimes, because when I resort to advice or solutions and that's not what you need, I'm just in a rush, you need to get my attention and kick me in the shins and say, because I don't want to let you be alone in there, and I'm going to try and find you and keep you company until it feels better. Would that be okay? If you did that with some of the people in your life, you will save lives.
For sure.
Wow.
Does that make sense? Does that fit if someone had said that to you?
Yeah, definitely.
How seriously do you take a child who, when they're upset, they say they want to kill themselves?
I would take it serious, because that's a leap. You know, it must be bad if you thinking kill yourself. So I would take that serious. And of course, as much as mothers and fathers would like to think, we're not therapists.
Right.
We're not trained for it that way. So I would take it serious, and I would try to do my best as a calming figure, but I would also try to surround my kid with competent people who could speak a different language.
Yeah, but here's something you can do, okay? Because we need, if we can save a life on this show, that'd be a great use of it. If you have a child, and again, sometimes they're so frustrated and they're angry and they want to get your attention. Well, I hate my life. I hate my life. I may as well just kill myself. Mm-hmm. And the point is, that's going to ratchet you up. But if you can just pause and kind of let it lay there, and then look at them, and you say, why? but you have to say it in the right tone. Like, why? And then whatever they say, here's what I coach people on, how to get people to open up. Listen for 4 things. When you say why, listen for hyperbole. Awful, terrible, whatever it is. Or listen for inflection, why I can't take this anymore. Or listen for adverbs or adjectives. Adverb embellishes a verb. Adverbs embellish
Modify
a verb.
they modify the verb.
Adjectives embellish a noun. So you listen for those 4 things when you say why, and they're expecting you to sort of just be dismissive, but they say, my life is really awful and I can't stand it. The next thing you say is, say more about the awful and you can't stand it. So you go deeper. To quote Zoe, you go deeper. And what will happen is if you just watch them, if they're used to you getting into a lecture with them, but if you watch them, you will see them start to fillet open, and they'll start to, if you're lucky, they'll start to tear up. You're not making them cry, you're letting them cry. Because when you do this, and this is a whole other show, I invented a term called the mirror neuron gap. If you look up mirror neurons are what's behind imitation, learning, and empathy. And they're defective in people with on the spectrum and autism, meaning they can't mirror other people.
Right.
And so a lot of times what faith does is it mirrors your despair.
Yeah.
You feel unpaired in the world, and if you feel unpaired with hope, you're hopeless, worthless, meaningless. And when you feel unpaired with all those things, you pair with death as a way out. But if you can pair with God, if you can pair with God and you feel they're listening to you, then the mirror neuron gap closes, cortisol goes down, oxytocin goes up, you feel less alone, and you pair with that versus pairing with death as the way out. And so by opening your kids up or anyone you care about in this way, what happens is you're eliminating that mirror neuron gap that makes them feel nobody cares, why bother, why go on.
Jeff, and then Kev.
Okay.
And then
that was very, very helpful, Doc. I've fortunately or unfortunately, family members, friends, I have had to do this 4 times now, which is deal with someone suicidal. A friend of mine was standing on some train tracks, and I've learned to deal with it this way with adults. I said, bruh, you know I love you. You know I dress sharp. You know I got a sharp ass black suit. I got a sharp black suit, black shoes, black. I said, here's what's gonna happen. That train is going to make. I said, let's talk about the ineffectiveness of suicide for a second. I said, here's what's gonna happen. That train's gonna make a mess of you. That mess is gonna be witnessed by some people who's gonna have it marred on their souls forever. There's an 8-year-old, a 10-year-old that gets to see the inside of you because you couldn't deal with whatever. Here's what else happens. They're gonna scrape all those remains up. A few days later, some people are gonna cry. I'm gonna say some words, and then we're gonna move the fuck on. You do understand that, right? That when that train whistle blows and it can't get out of the way, whatever you're dealing with, you have just given it the last opportunity to fix it. You have no more opportunities to fix it. You have no more opportunities to love. You have no more opportunities to share. Are you really willing, with all the help that I'm willing to give you, to gamble all of that on your inability to fix whatever the fuck it is in front of you?
Okay, I got to jump in because there's something, here's an alternative thing. Now, that can be helpful, but there's something that I call mediated catharsis, which means when you give them the words that they can't express, they calm down. And so if you were to say to someone like that,
you all right? Shit.
You look them straight in the eye,
scare a nigga.
and you say, and you hold on to their eyes because you're going to hold on. You're not going to let them kill themselves. And you can say this to me, Jeff. I can't fucking stand it anymore. I can't take it anymore. This is my only option. Say that with as much feeling as you have. And so you're creating a space and you're draining an emotional abscess. And then when they say that, I can't stand it anymore, you say more about you can't stand it anymore, and you'll start to see it all come out. It'll be draining, like, well, I've done these things and I made all these mistakes and I feel foolish and whatever. Say more, keep it coming. But That's called mediated catharsis. You're giving them the language out of the abscess.
Right.
And you watch it and you will see, and they'll start to cry and they will collapse.
Doc,
figuratively or literally in your arms.
And I'm going to go back to Kev. But Doc, tell them about what it means when they cry. When the psychiatrist gets them to the point where they just open up and cry.
Okay, so
how healing just the cry is.
Okay, so when I give talks on listening, and what I talk about, one of the things that I feature is the reason tearjerker movies work is because you're identifying with two people who are just missing each other, hating each other, and then at the last minute when they connect, you cry because in your mind you have all these conflicts with other people, and when you vicariously see them resolve it, you cry with relief at seeing it.
Wow.
So what was the movie about the drum instructor? He won the Academy Award. J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons. Oh shit! Slingshot. No. Oh fuck me. And it was a great movie.
Okay, but at the end,
shut up.
But that's a guy's thing. But if you watch that movie, that J.K. Simmons is just beating the crap out of this student.
Yes.
But what's happening is J.K. Simmons is a failed musician himself, and he's looking for perfection. He's never been able to get it from his students or himself. And at the end, he goes to humiliate this kid, and the kid rises and hits perfection. And you'll see J.K. Simmons takes off his shirt and whatever. He's smiling, and then the kid just ends with this amazing beat. And then they smile at each other.
Whiplash.
And at that moment, go watch the last 10 minutes because it builds. And at the moment he goes from humiliation to connection, you'll see the smile between them, and that'll make guys cry. Forget the chick flick stuff. That'll make guys cry. And
Wow.
That closes the mirror neuron gap.
Kev, your thoughts? Because you know what's coming.
Well, just dealing with the suicidal thing. It's a lack of self-worth that usually creates that, that energy within a person. For me, as a trainer, and getting to the point where you get people to cry, a lot of times they have to do that to lose weight. You have to kind of, that's what personal trainer is. You kind of have to get into each person's psyche and understand what got them to that point in the first place, and then break through those walls. And then once they understand what's the obstacles have been through their whole life, a lot of times then they'll break down and just start crying, and understanding what's gotten them to that point. But it is, it has to happen. Like if they're holding those things in order for you to be able to move on, you have to break through those emotional blockages in order for it to happen. Because I've trained people for a long time, and they weren't getting anywhere until we got to that point. We sit down, and I'm like, look, what's going on? And then sometimes they'll get angry, but then when we get angry, we'll flow through that. Then we'll finally get back to the main problem, what's going on. And a lot of times it's something that happened to them in the past that's keeping them from getting to the point to where they need to be in the future.
And so what you did, and my book Just Listen's all about this, is they didn't feel understood. They felt by you. And there's a difference between
say more. That's big.
Feeling understood. You're still away. You're being dismissive of their experience. Well, I can understand how you feel that way. That can almost sound condescending.
Right.
Whereas feeling felt would be saying to them, "How the hell did you make it through that?" I used to have a suicidal practice. I mean, people refer to suicidal people, and I remember there was one person. Probably the best compliment you can ever make is that this person told me how suicidal they were, and I said, why didn't you do it? I mean, you're more courageous than me. I just felt the tip of your iceberg, and if I felt the entire iceberg, I would have done it. You're stronger than me. How come you didn't do it? And this person had been through a lot, and she looked at me. And this is out of context, and we'd had that kind of connected conversation with the thing. And she looked at me and she said, "Because I was waiting to meet you."
Wow.
There it is.
Talk about the cry.
I'm about to cry.
Yeah.
I'm about to
That's
say,
what I'm
brother,
saying. That's the cry
you
for
almost
help.
got me. Shit.
That's the cry.
Yeah,
That's the cry for help. And a lot of times that's what it is. It's taking myself is really reaching out for a lot of people. Me threatening to do that is me reaching out.
Right.
And
do you care?
Here's the problem, though. She was blessed to have a Dr. G, to be in arm's reach, or for Kev to be in arm's reach. Because some people, when they reach out, they grab onto something that isn't entirely healthy at all. It might even exacerbate the loneliness, the emptiness. So, I mean, listen, man, this has been a very powerful show. I want to take a very brief break. And when I come back, I'm going to do the final thought, man. We don't have all the answers, but we damn sure had some of them in this mug today. I can tell you that right now.
How about that?
So we'll be back at 2.2, just a quick break. And when we come back, Zoe's final thought. Ladies and gentlemen, the ZOWHAT Morning Show back in the building. Very powerful topic today, needed to be had. All my guys came in with their A game and dropped very, very heavy information. I appreciate you all for your wisdom and your insights. But I also want to say, man, we're living at a time, right? We're living at a time now where America is at a crossroads. You want to be the greatest country in the world, or you want to be the biggest dick in the world? Right? The people who are in power have to understand that people are getting wiser and smarter and more aware of the bullshit y'all been running. You can't expect people to look at a system of authority with respect if you've been evil the whole time. And I know this is hard. Like I said, pathological altruism. You can't be dementedly good. You know what I mean? I will help you. No, you can't. And the reality of it is, man, as long as there's corporations and big money involved, the lives and the health and just the quality of life. Like, I'm listening to Doc saying, hey, you want to save that person. So we medicate them. But if the medication lowers their quality of life, you're saving them for what? Now we're in this gray area quandary. They were in a low level. They were in a bad space. And I'm not advocating for suicide. What I'm saying is, damn, for a lot of people, it's hard. Life is difficult. I hear sometimes Christians say, you were blessed because you opened your eyes. Not if everything around you is squalor.
Wow.
Both inside and out.
Wow.
That's not a blessing. It's not a blessing until that person finds a way out of the darkness to rediscover that they still have a purpose, that they have a meaning, that they can still develop a meaning, that they can still connect to meaning. But if you see yourself as meaningless, right? And all of the institutions around you are trying to do is dull you and put you to sleep so you can sleep through mediocrity. Ooh, fuck. Right? What? Damn. That hurts. And that's just for a regular person. What about a black man whom the system is a predator of? Shit, you stand up and use an intellectual faculty of questioning in school and you're labeled a delinquent. You're labeled, you understand, just for questioning.
You're a problem.
It's a problem,
You're
child.
a problem. We have a pill.
Right. You understand what I'm saying? Your parent needs help. We have a pill that will help them because you decided to stand up.
Pills are brain apps?
Then you look at humanity as a whole. The frontal lobe of the brain is virtually new, basically brand new. It's the newest part of the brain. So how do we have a hierarchy of people that's smarter than everybody else, telling everybody else what the fuck they got to do? And along the way, they're creating torturous methods to get it done. And they're the moral base. Man, I'm going to say this, and I've been saying this for years. Question everything. And it doesn't have to be aggressive, but it can be intellectually aggressive. What the fuck does that mean? Why I got to do that? For what? Let me see the list of ingredients. Who made this? Who's the manufacturer? I mean, at the end of the day, you got a kid, you got a daughter, you take her to the doctor, they say she needs that Gardasil shot because of the HPV vaccine. But when you do the research, you find out that Gardasil is hurting people. Now, all of a sudden, everybody want to talk about autism and how the vaccines are leading to autism. Okay, well, shit. You told us it was safe.
Yep.
I'm tired of pathological altruism.
Whoops.
The fucking evil trying to be good. Come on. And who gets it the worst? Don't act like political prisoners haven't been labeled crazy, and that's justification enough to put them away forever. Let's not act like psychiatry is above propaganda, is above immoral profit grabbing. So as long as that's involved, we have the right to question. We have the right to renounce it. What is Doc, what is it called where psychiatrists don't need your consent? Like normal in medicine, the doctor needs your consent for you to work on him. But psychiatrists don't necessarily need your consent to say, I'm a psychiatrist.
You're fucked up.
You're fucked up. Can y'all come get him? There's a jacket. He wears a 40 long. What is it called, Doc?
There's something called a 5150. A 5150 is a 72-hour hold. So people come into an emergency room, and actually, a good thing you should use with yourself. Whenever you're agitated, there's a good chance you're going to do something foolish and stupid and destructive, and you're going to regret, and then you're going to feel ashamed, and then you're going to have to sort of apologize to other people, apologize to yourself. So for anybody who's feeling all jacked up and about to do something stupid, put yourself on a 72-hour hold, meaning don't do anything to make it worse for 72 hours.
I love it.
And here's the big plus, is nearly all breakthroughs are preceded by breakdowns. And you'll miss the breakdown if after the breakdown you make it worse because you'll feel too guilty and you'll be hiding that. But if you can have the breakdown, do your regular routines, not do anything to make it worse, within 72 hours, instead of going through the cracks, you will have a breakthrough. Everybody's nodding here because almost all breakthroughs are preceded by breakdowns. When you're having one, it's an opportunity. Don't make it worse. You'll get the breakthrough.
And that's such a bar. Because the system, you don't want the system to give you their 72-hour hold. Put yourself on a 72-hour hold.
They don't put you up in the Waldorf for 72 hours.
Oh,
They don't put you in the Nico for 72 hours.
No. How long you over there? You over there for a minute, right?
Oh, yeah.
I know somebody was in there.
Funny green jello.
You understand? So I'm just saying, man, like, I'm not saying that mental illness is an illusion, but I'm questioning the treatment. And I'm positing that the treatment might be an illusion. Doc is a good man and knows how to see into motherfuckers. Sometimes you need those kind of people around you that you trust enough that can see into you and that you can resonate with, and the rapport is there. Okay, I'm out of bounds. I'm across the line. We all are imperfect beings. Everybody got some level of crazy in them, and everybody needs a team that they can respond to in those moments of crazy.
High level right here.
Right, and Doc dropped a bomb when he said, hey, man, put yourself on a 72-hour hold. Listen, I'm Zoe Williams, and that's my final thought, man. If you appreciated the show, don't hesitate to go to my GoFundMe page, www.gofundme.com/Zoe Williams. Support. Pre-order the holographic relationship and order the relationship dismount as supplies dwindle. I want to thank all my crew, Frank, DJ Julian Ramirez, at DJ Julian Ramirez on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Frank, Jeff, my man Kev, of course, and Dr. G. This was his topic. He killed it today. I appreciate everybody.
Cop Stop Guardian. We need you guys' support. Go donate, please. GoFundMe /Cop Stop Guardian.
All right, then. All right, we out. Deuces.